Before you build anything, you must have a blueprint. And when I just started reselling, I did not have any direction, any plan, any blueprint, and things were just happening everywhere, up and down, didn't know which way to go, didn't have a plan. And the most important thing, if you want to be a successful reseller, is you got to have a plan or some sort of structure, blueprint. By developing a plan, you're going to be able to measure, you're going to be able to track and know if you're making progress towards your goals. If you are struggling to figure out this whole landscape within reselling, it's probably because you don't have a solidified plan. Well, we're going to fix that in this video. We're going to be using and leveraging AI to help build us a business outline, and you're going to be able to come away with some tools after watching this video to actually have a plan in place for your resale business, whether you want to do this part-time or full-time. Don't worry, because when I first started, I had no plan. I had no vision for how to make this happen. It was kind of an ever-folding thing that came about over the last few years, and I realized if I don't have a blueprint on how my business that I want it to look like, I have no way to measure or track anything that I'm doing. So after watching this video, you're going to come away with a plan that you can adapt to your business model. We all have different businesses we're running, but let's jump right into it and not waste any more time. The biggest thing when I'm talking to other resellers is they have no plan. They have no vision. They have no goal. So how do you track things? I'm wondering, because I didn't know how I tracked anything when I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what targets to hit, how many times I should go sourcing, what my listing goal should be, average profit per item. And if you're just starting out, that's okay. You don't need to know that right away, but I do recommend developing some type of outline before you get going or as you get started early on in your journey. So let's take a look at some of the tools that we're going to be using today. I'll put them in the link down below, and you can use this as kind of an outline on how to structure it. But stick with me here. We're going to be going over some of the basics. I know it looks like a lot going on here, especially if you have not used AI before, but we're going to be using 3 AI tools that are going to help build a really nice outline that is data driven with current data. So the first one is going to be Gemini Deep Research. The second one is going to be called Notebook LM to kind of fine tune that research. And the last one is going to be ChatGPT, is going to help us put all of that data into an actual readable and easy to learn outline for your business. So the first one is Gemini Advanced Deep Research. Like I said, I'll link these all down below, but this is going to help you take the next step in your business. If you don't have a plan, get one. So what I did here is I just typed into Gemini Advanced Research. I'm building a clothing resale business. Search all the data from start to finish on how to build a 6-figure clothing resale business. So I'm going to, you could see it did that already, but let's go back and redo it so you know what we're looking at, okay? So let's go back, let's go to Gemini Deep Research. You just type it into Google, and let's copy paste that exact thing that I just said. So I'm building a clothing resale business. Search all the data from start to finish on how to build a 6-figure resale business with data-driven results. You're going to hit enter, and it's going to take some time to go through the whole internet and go through Reddit, go through subreddits, go through YouTube videos, go through everything that's available on how to make this happen. It's after a few seconds going to just confirm what you're looking for. And it says it's going to be ready in a few minutes. So you're going to want it to start that research. What's cool is this is going to be kind of pooling sources from everywhere, 20 sources, 50 sources, to really kind of fine tune what you're looking to do. And this is, you can apply this to almost anything, but I was feeling like when I first started reselling, not having a plan was a huge deal, because you're working so hard in this business, and if you don't know how to measure your results, or other than looking at your eBay performance page, you're going to need more data than that to make good decisions in your business. So it's doing the research, it's looking everywhere. You could see it says researching websites. I mean, it's got everything on here, which is really cool. It's going to pull a lot of data. And it looks confusing. It is a lot. this is kind of doing the back end data search that we're going to then put into a Google document and then run it through Notebook LM, which is going to kind of fine tune a lot of the data. Are you a reseller looking to make an extra bit of money? Well, we are hiring to our wholesale team of over 31 people where we buy inventory from nationwide. So if you love to source, but you don't want any of that drama like the listing and the photography, and you want to be able to multiply money fast, well then click the link down below because we are expanding our team. It is a great option to be able to double your money, especially if you source at flea markets, the Goodwill bins, estate sales, yard sales, rag houses. We are buying thousands of pieces of clothing every week. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, book a call down below. We'll get you onboarded. We'll get you set up with our brand list of over 300 brands, and we'd love to put some money in your pocket. Check it out. So it's still going, still going, still going. I'll save you the hassle because we already have it here. So once it's all done, you're going to just click, it's going to have a button in the top right-hand corner to export to a Google document. And this is basically the end result. It just goes over a summary, everything. It just basically takes the big market overview and then fine tunes it and gathers the data of other six-figure resellers, maybe some stories, some testimonials on what they did, vintage clothing. It's going to go through a lot. Don't get overwhelmed by it because this is basically the foundation for what we're going to feed into Notebook LM. So once we got that done, you're going to want to go to notebooklm.google.com and you're going to want to add this as a source. You could see clothing resale business blueprint. And when you get into this, you're just going to click add source. And you can see you can hit here Google Docs, and then you can upload that into. And then also search Google or search YouTube. YouTube, how to grow a six-figure resale business. Plans to grow a six-figure resale business, brands to buy to build a six-figure resale business. You're going to want to input those too as well, which you can just do that easily through a YouTube link, copy, paste, put it in there. And it's going to research everything. And then you're just going to hit enter. Well, actually what I did was, build me a six-figure resale business. That's exactly what I said. Build a six-figure resale clothing business with that data. And boom, it did it. It gave me all the data, bunch of good stuff, which is kind of fine-tuning a lot of what we fed it off of that Google document and then YouTube videos. So what we do from there is we just copy it, go all the way down, you just hit copy. So now we're pulling that data out of there, and then we're going to go ahead and go into ChatGPT. So you can use this as a prompt. It could be helpful for you, maybe not. But I want to get started with a clothing resale business. I want to leave my 9-to-5 job, and I want to do this full time. And I want to gross over $100K per year. Develop a business plan to make this happen. Act as a business professional with an expertise in clothing resale. Give me actionable step-by-step process on how to make this happen. Okay, so you copy and paste what you got from Notebook LM here into ChatGPT. And then at the end, you're also going to want to add with the plus button, upload from computer, and I just uploaded that PDF into here. So now it has the PDF of our blueprint from Gemini, which is like the bigger data set. And then we have the fine-tuned data set from Notebook LM. And then we just gave that all to ChatGPT to do its magic. And it came away with a great outline that you can copy, you can fine tune it to your goals or whatever. Maybe you just want to make $20,000 a year. Fine tune it and let it make it happen. Like I said, y'all, it's like going back to the journey of our last 4 years. We've spoken to many, many resellers, and they come and go. Why? Because they have no plan. They have no blueprint. They have no outline to follow. It is so important to have one, and it just surprises me. People want to start running their own business and really make it happen, and it's a lot of hard work, but you're doing a lot of that hard work for nothing if you don't have a plan. And it's okay because I had no plan when I first started, but you got to get on it and you got to make sure you develop something to put it into action, put it into place so you can measure your results and track your progress. So this is a great thing here that literally took about 10 minutes to do. And after this, we're going to do another plan that I can walk you through step by step, developing a brands list, because this is probably the foundation for most clothing resale business is to have a brands list, something that you can go out that's updated, active, and ready that you can go out and source and hit the ground running. That's probably the biggest difficulty is when you just start, you have no idea what brands to buy. So here's the outline for the business, and we'll go over them quickly. But step-by-step business plan for your 100K clothing resale business. Step one is just define your vision and financial targets. Everyone has their own, but your goal is 100,000 a year. So that's 8,333 gross per month and 277 gross in sales per day. So 20 average profit per item. You need to sell 14 items a day. And the time frame is give yourself 12 months to ramp up. Do you guys hear that? 12 months. It took us a full year to get things going. So with eBay, and we're talking about eBay, we're not talking about Whatnot, Poshmark, Mercari, we're not talking about anything else, but eBay it takes a lot of time. And sometimes people don't want to invest that much time into waiting for things to grow. But I will say that the people that can put things into action and have delayed gratification and work hard on something without getting a reward are the ones that really have a lot of grit and determination, and they don't need the reward right away because they know they're building something on a longer time horizon. So giving yourself at least 12 months to see beneficial results is going to make things a lot better. It's going to make you feel less depressed. So give yourself some time. And that's a great point. That's a great point. It takes time. Took us a good year to get things going. Step two is choose your business model and niche. So a business model can be high volume, low ticket, things like Nike, Levi's, fast fashion, which I don't recommend because you're going to be putting in so much work, making very little profit. And a lot of those times, those items aren't in demand. Low volume, high ticket, which is a great use of your time, but good luck finding designer items in luxury resale. A lot of those items are faked too. So niche focused is like vintage 90s, plus size, streetwear, kids wear. I think that when you're getting into reselling, the most important metric is you need to study sell-through rate. So it really doesn't matter what the brand is as long as it has a good sell-through rate. For example, Urban Pipeline cargo shorts, which I think are sold at Kohl's, have nearly 100% sell-through rate in spring and summer, and you can find those at the Goodwill bins for $1.59 a pound. So the Urban Pipeline cargo shorts for men, almost 100% sell-through rate this time last year on eBay. So what we're looking for is not so much brands, but sell-through rate. So 50% sell-through rate and above, 75% sell-through rate and above, you need to pick what's going to be good for your business model. Don't focus so much on the brand, but focus on sell-through rate. This is why you need to look up so many brands when you start. And don't worry, stick around to the end of the video. We're going to build you a brands list based on my YouTube videos so you can have a foundation of at least like 100 brands to be able to just copy into a Google Sheets and then go out and source those brands because you know those are tested, researched, and then you can maybe learn some brands along the way. So beautiful. Action is the next step is research platforms like Poshmark, eBay, and Depop. So getting active, learning, checking sell-through rates on a weekly basis, using Google Trends to search data and identify niches. So the seasons of jackets and board shorts and sweaters and dresses, go onto Google Trends and look it up. When are people searching dresses the most? When are people searching jackets the most? And then hone in on those items. What I've always done in my resale business is I've picked up jackets all the time in the spring and summer because it's less competitive, and I'm picking up dresses, board shorts, and summer items in the winter because they're more in abundance and more available. So, and get those items listed. Don't wait till the season to list them. List them all year round because you never know. It's always cold somewhere. So pick one primary niche and one backup niche to test. I think we should always be testing things out as well. Step 3 is set your metrics. ASP minimum target is $30. I think that's a really good start for pre-owned clothing sellers. Profit per item is $15 to $20 profit. Sell-through rate target should be 50 to 75% within 90 days. Don't go any lower than 30% unless if you want items that are going to be sitting in your store for a year plus, and maybe you have the space to hold it, but I'm probably talking to the people that are just starting. You probably don't have a warehouse. Maybe you do, but most likely you don't. And I didn't when I first started, so you really want to stick to the higher sell-through rate items so your whole home doesn't fill up with product. Sourcing budget, spend no more than 50% of your revenue on new inventory. So if you're making $1,000 into your bank every week, set a set limit of $500 a week to spend on product. Don't break that rule because it really messes up the cash flow when you're just starting out, unless you have 10, 20, 30 grand saved up. So sourcing strategy: thrift stores, Goodwill bins, estate sales, consignment. Add on later, which is online, like online arbitrage, consignment deals, and wholesale. Tools that you could use are Vendu, Bendy, and Seller Aider to analyze trends and cross lists. Yeah, you could. Vendu is okay for cross lists. I would look at Nifty AI if you are going to cross list in the future, but let's focus on eBay first before we start putting stuff on other websites. So weekly target, I didn't write this. This is all based on the data we gave it. So you're going to want to fine tune it to your own targets and goals. So weekly target is to source about 70 to 100 items a week. That would be about listing 10 to 15 items per day. Aim for $3 to $7 cost of goods average. That's really good. And I recommend everyone start at the Goodwill bins, flea markets, yard sales, estate sales, because that's the best way to go. That is the best way to go. All right, now we're going to be breaking down the workflow. What exactly should your day-to-day look like if you are going to be looking to take that step into doing this full time? It's really important to have a daily set schedule. You want to make $100,000 a year. Now you need to reverse engineer what are the daily tasks I need to do to get to that point on a yearly level. And I think ChatGPT does a pretty good job. Step 5 is daily workflow for maximum output. What should your sourcing look like? I always say that you need to be putting the most attention into your sourcing, because your sourcing life will dictate how your resale life is. If you're only sourcing once a week, once a month, you're going to have a terrible sales in your store unless you have insane access to some hidden source that you have. But for most people, we really need to be putting most of our energy into the sourcing. So it says to source 2 to 3 times per week and an aim for bulk pickups. I personally would probably stay away from bulk pickups when you're just starting out, because it's a great way to be buying a bunch of junk. So what I would do is I would hand pick every single item at the thrift store and at the Goodwill bins and at the flea market and at yard sales and estate sales to make sure that you know what you're buying. Because when you're buying in bulk, you don't know. It could be 50% of the stuff is just not worth listing. And that kind of resonates with my last video. Is like, just because it's a low price doesn't mean you should buy it. Photography. So daily and batch photography, 10 to 20 items per day. That's going to be taking photos in sets of 10 or 20, whatever your listing goal is, and you definitely want to have some set aside to putting in your draft bank. So you need to be listing daily. That is the thing with eBay. If you're not listing daily, it's going to be very difficult for you to gain momentum on the platform, and that's what eBay likes. So list 10 to 20 new items every single day. Cross-listing, I would stay away from in your first year, because if you're not good on eBay and you cross-list to other platforms, you're going to be not good on those other platforms either. So let's master eBay first and then step into cross-listing. You can do whatever you want, but that's just my personal experience. Shipping daily, try to ship out every day. Same day shipping or next day shipping, that's going to help not only just within the algorithm, but providing good customer service, because mostly everyone else is shipping very quick. So customer service daily, every day, answering messages, getting back to people, answering any questions that come in through eBay. Trend research should be 2 times per week. What's selling, what's not, and this is just going to look like researching YouTube videos, even using ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Notebook LM to do some of the back-end research for you. I think that's a great way to go about it. So step 6 is platform selection optimization. Let's just stick with eBay for now. I really do think eBay is the best platform for selling clothing when you're just starting out. Whatnot is a whole different animal, and I don't want to get into that, but eBay is a great way to get started. You start getting familiar with some of the brands. So let's focus on eBay, and I think if you focus on one thing, you can really grow it substantially versus like putting all of your energy into a bunch of different platforms when you're just starting. Step 7 is build your brand and marketing machine. I think this is super important. That's not talked about. When starting a business, you got to have marketing. And I know people say YouTube's not for me. I'm not going to be doing TikTok. That's fine, but I think it's important to actually start being consistent with marketing and having some kind of social proof, whether it's a landing page, a website, a Facebook page, something like describing what you do. It's really important, not only for running Facebook ads, but if people are interested in selling you product or sending you product, it's good to have like a landing page with a way to like collect emails so you can start building your business up over the long run. I think starting out going to the Goodwill bins, garage sales, yard sales is a great way to start, but this is more of a long-term option of building your brand, getting known, starting an Instagram, starting a TikTok, starting a Facebook page, and starting to build that out slowly, make it known. We buy used clothes, we buy clothes, clothing upcycle business, clothing recycle business, and then you're able to kind of reach more people and have more social proof because people are going to reach out. What do you do? Rather than sending them your personal Facebook page, you'll have like an actual legitimate either website, landing page to be able to collect some emails, to kind of connect with people and refer back to them if they do want to sell you product on a recurring basis. It's also building community, engage with buyers and sellers. That's good too. Yes, you want to have direct access to your customers when you are bringing in product. So step 8 is operation and tools, inventory system, spreadsheet, or you could use Vendoo. It has a built-in spreadsheet. I just use a simple Google spreadsheet still to this day. If you're looking to level up, you could use Quicken, QuickBooks. There's another one called Xero. There's many accounting platforms out there, but you can get by with just doing a spreadsheet. I'm actually hiring an accountant to take care of our business because now it's gotten to the point where tracking things on a spreadsheet is very difficult. So I need something a little bit more robust and have an accountant to manage the books and send payouts because we just hired employees. So, but that's not when you're first starting out. When you're first starting out, Google Sheets will just do fine. Shipping station, so pre-bought labels, poly mailers, all that. Get your scale ready. This is all pretty known. You want a ring light with a white wall or backdrop with consistent editing. You don't need to edit the photos too much. Scale strategically. So once you're making consistent sales, and people hire this out way too quickly, but you want to do everything yourself to start. But once you start selling and shipping out lots of packages and that becomes overwhelming, then you're going to want to hire out. That is the first person, is a shipper. You don't want to hire a photographer. You don't want to hire a lister first. You want to hire a shipper first because that shows that you're doing enough volume to be able to pay them. If you're hiring a photographer first, but you're only shipping 3 items out a day, you're going to be in the negative. So negotiate bulk buys or consignment deals. That could be good as you get your first year under your belt, and invest in better tools and branding. So I love that. Step 10 is exit your 9 to 5 intelligently. Don't quit your job until you're consistently making at least $5,000 a month in profit for 3 to 6 months. I love that. Build up a 3 to 6 months of savings and have clear standard operating procedures and systems in place. Weekly action plan for your first 3 months is source 100 items a week, list 10 to 15 items a day, sell 10 to 12 items a day by month 3, social media 3 to 5 posts a week, and study market, watch top reseller YouTubers weekly just to kind of saturate yourself in the knowledge of what it takes. And this is going to be something you can alter towards your kind of business and what you'd like to do. There's only going to be 1% of the people that actually watch this video that put into the action, but the 1%, if you do this, you're going to have such a higher chance of succeeding versus the people that do not build a plan or have a blueprint. It's just so hard to build a business if you have no plan. So if you actually want to do this legitimately and you're serious about doing, build out a plan. Use AI to help you do that. You know, you can just kind of brain dump all of your ideas into ChatGPT and it can help you formulate a plan. You do need to give it a data set on what to do, on what to know about the business you want to build, not just with clothing resale. So that's why we used Gemini and Notebook LM to do a lot of the data aggregation to be able to feed it into ChatGPT so it has some type of like knowledge base on what to refer to and like YouTube videos and stuff. So that's what we're going to walk you through next. I don't want to make this video too long, but we do need a brands list. So we're going to go back to Notebook LM and like I said, link down below, and we're going to take about 10 of my videos or more and we're just going to feed it. We're going to feed it. So I'm just going to copy paste all of these links. These are videos I've made recently just going over sell-through rates in brands that we should be picking up. So it's going to be very easy to do. So let's do this. Let's input all of the videos. You just go to YouTube, copy, paste, insert. Okay, so we did that one, done. Let's make it a little easier. Okay, so we're going to do this one. Go back, add source, YouTube, done. We're going to add all of these videos in. Then it's going to be able to have a knowledge base on what we talked about in these videos, so it can refer that and build us an actual brands list. Do you know how tedious this would be, 5 years ago? It would take forever. So now we could just copy paste all of these data sources in, and it's going to have a beautiful amount of current sell-through rates, average sale price, maybe anything that I mentioned in addition to that brand. It's so amazing, guys. We live in an amazing time. Use AI to help you grow your business. If you don't, there's people out there that are going to use it, and they're going to be ahead of the game because they're able to learn and just do things much quicker versus doing it by yourself. So we're doing all of these videos. We're doing quite a few, but it's good to have a good broad amount. Fall and winter items, spring and summer items, this is key. It's so important. I highly recommend you guys do this. Please, 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 because I want you to succeed. I want you to build a successful resale business. And if you do not have a plan, it's just so hard to do it. It is hard to be successful without a plan in anything in life. And it's really shocking to me that people get started in this business. They do the listings, they do the photos, they do everything. And then you ask them, what is your goals? What is your plan? They don't have any. And that's depressing. So we don't want you to be like that. It's going to make things a lot easier when you do go through the downturn times of no sales, or maybe your supplier falls out and you can't get product like you used to. You're going to be able to refer back to your plan and make it happen. Okay, so now Notebook LM has the data. Let's say develop a brands list based on these videos for my clothing resale business. Let's see what it comes up with. Probably going to take a minute, but then once we get that data, we can feed it to ChatGPT to kind of like make it into an actual PDF we can download. It's probably going to take a little bit of time. Okay, so here we go. Cool. So copy, and then we're going to go to ChatGPT, back to where we were, and then we're going to say create a brands list for my clothing resale business. And then we're going to go copy paste, enter. We can always say add in more detail, or add in more brands. So it's working on it. So here's about 50 brands that you could take from that and just be able to copy paste this into a spreadsheet or whatever you would like. I think it's really important to have at least 50 to 100 brands that you can start picking up right away. And remember, we're looking for high sell-through rate. Don't pay so much attention to the brand, because look, you can see J. Jill 2X plus size tops have a 75 to 85% sell-through rate. And if you're picking up stuff from the bins, Goodwill bins, flea markets, yard sales, you should be paying between like $1 and $3 for these items. They're not going to sell for $50 plus shipping, but they will be bread and butter items that sell between $20 and $30. So this is why I really wanted to make this type of video, is because people are struggling out there. People are giving up. People are not so enthusiastic as they were maybe 5-10 years ago about clothing resale. But this market is growing, and if you want to build a big business, you got to start with a plan. I hope you all have a blessed rest of the day, and we'll see you in the next one.